Hello, welcome to the Orange County Department of Education College and Career Fair. We are so excited to have you participating in this event. We have some fantastic schools here with us today. My name is Becca Russo and I will be your facilitator. Before we get started, a few housekeeping items. Your cameras and microphones are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out the schedule on the website. And the presentation is being recorded and will be available at strivescan.com/COSI. I'd now like to turn it over to our first school. We have Bennington College. Take it away.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll just go ahead and share my screen. My name is Frances Edwards. I work as Bennington's California regional representative. So although Bennington is based in Vermont on the East Coast, I myself am based in Southern California. In terms of thinking about Bennington, we're a very small private liberal arts college in Southern Vermont, so about 3.5 hours north of New York City and about 3 hours west of Boston. So Bennington has around 720 undergraduate students. And those students are coming from 60 different countries and over 40 different states in the US. Actually, about 17% of our student body are international students. That small scale of our size pairs down to the individual student experience. And so we have a student to faculty ratio of 10:1. And actually students over the course of their 4 years at Bennington pursue individualized work whilst being supported by at least 4 to 5 faculty members each. There are kind of two main areas of a Bennington education that really are the center of the student's experience here. The first is our academic structure itself, which looks a little different to more traditional liberal arts academic structures. So at Bennington, we call our academic structure the plan process. And so every student over their 4 years creates what's known as a plan. And so over the course of your 4 years at Bennington, you'll have access to a completely open curriculum. We offer 45 different areas of study that you can see on the screen there that covers pretty much every discipline group you could imagine. We want our students to be able to center their education around exactly what they're most passionate about. So at Bennington, we will never ask you to choose just one of these areas of study to focus on. Instead, in their second year, our students, in tandem with support from 4 different faculty members who work in the fields that you're particularly interested in, you will write an essay and carve out and design your own course of study and practice. So for students who have interests that fall into multiple areas and you're stuck thinking, which one do I choose? A Bennington education allows students to pursue their interests and connections and questions between disciplines all 4 years. I have an example here on this previous screen of what a plan can look like. This is a student called Lily, who graduated just last year. And you can see that Lily centered her plan, her self-designed inquiry around a very specific question. How can thoughtful, aware design be used as a solution, artistic, theatrical, or computational, to manifest visions, make tools, and communicate ideas? That's probably not what you want to study, right? The idea is that it is an incredibly individualized structure to allow students to design their own education. So Lily studied courses throughout the visual arts, computer science, and mathematics. The other kind of key area of Bennington education is that we're the only college in the US to have required annual internships since our founding. And so we call this fieldwork term. Every single year between January and February, every Bennington student completes 6 weeks of fieldwork in an area related to their studies. So you graduate with at least 4 internship experiences, and you're supported by the Office of Fieldwork Term and Career Development in figuring out what you might want to do each year and how you might want to do it. And so this is a chance for students to really test the ideas that they're creating on campus in their courses in real fields of work. This is just a few examples of fieldwork term sites that our students worked at in 2020. So during the middle of a global pandemic, all of our students were still able to complete their fieldwork term requirement. And you can see some examples there from Adobe Pictures to the Vermont State Legislature to Mass MOPA to UC Riverside's Brain Games Center. Bennington is a completely residential campus, so all of our students are guaranteed on-campus housing all 4 years. Our houses are actual white wooden houses that have about 30 to 35 students in them each. And it's actually almost like the Harry Potter sorting hat. Each house has its own personality. We don't separate housing based on class year or gender identity or academic interests. And so you will be placed in that house based on your personality and what you're looking for in your living situation. In terms of applying to Bennington, students can apply through the common application. We are completely test optional, which means that you do not need to submit standardized test scores to Bennington to be considered for admission. So if you do not submit any standardized testing, it has no impact on your likelihood of admission or on your eligibility for any financial aid. We offer both merit and need-based financial aid at Bennington. You don't need to submit any additional forms to be considered for our merit-based aid, and we offer really great need-based financial aid for students who are eligible and apply. If you would like to be considered for need-based financial aid, you just have to submit the FAFSA and the CSS profile. You can see that there's some links there to some of our social media pages to learn more directly from current students. A couple of quick facts to end with. 92% of our students are on some form of financial aid. It's only a small portion can pay that sticker price that you might see online. 77% of our graduates report being engaged at work versus just 39% of liberal arts college graduates nationally. So again, twice as likely to be fully engaged, a big credit to fieldwork term. And I'm just about out of time, but thank you so much again. If you would like to learn more, don't hesitate to email or to reach out, and I'll put my contact details in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Up next, we have Champlain College.
Thanks. Well, thank you. Just going to share my screen here. So, hi folks, coming to you from Champlain College in the northern part of Vermont. My name is Liz Van Luling, and I'm the Associate Director of Admissions. I work with students from the West Coast, including California. So I will be the first person to review your application should you apply to our college. So let me tell you a little bit more. So Champlain, we are just over 2,000 undergraduate students. We do have a Champlain College online. So if you're Googling us out there, you might see that. That's more continuing education, going from an associate's to a bachelor's. So really the undergraduate population is more of that traditional student. We have 40 different states represented and 18 different countries. Again, smaller school, and it's really exciting to see a number of countries represented as well as across our nation. In terms of location, I was chatting with folks earlier today about how you can really go between all of the states in the New England region a lot faster than parts of California. So just to give you perspective, we are about an hour from the Canadian border. And these are some drive times to some major cities around the Northeast. So you can see how easy it is to get around. Also really cool, Burlington has its own international airport. So you can fly right into Burlington, 5 miles from campus, which is super helpful for students. And we also have an Amtrak station and a bus depot nearby, so it's easy to get down to New York City or Boston if you want to. Burlington's not a shabby place to consider for college. It's pretty fun for students. Between us at Champlain with 2,000 students, and then University of Vermont with about 10,000 students, a little bit bigger, and St. Michael's College in the same county. We have a ton of students who come to Burlington, Vermont every year for school. The city itself is a true city. Like I said, we have an airport nearby, we have a Target, we have movie theaters, but just 20 minutes outside of our city limits, you've got mountains that you can ski on, you can go hiking, you can go apple picking, taste test some maple syrup. So it's a really interesting place to choose for 4 years. And certainly we have all 4 seasons. So it's not as crazy as Chicago or Buffalo in terms of snow being dumped on our city without prediction. But certainly it does get a little bit colder here. So you might want to invest in a nice jacket. Also on our campus, a really unique feature is that all of our first year students live in renovated Victorian homes. So we have about 21 different mansions that students can live in. They're all renovated, so they have great services for you. Sometimes, you might have a single a double, a triple, and a triple might actually be a room with pocket rooms within it. So you're all able to have your beds on the floor. You might have to share a restroom on the floor of the residence hall, or some of our mansions actually have ensuite restrooms. So that's kind of cool. Sophomore, junior year, more traditional style housing that was engineered to have geothermal engineering. So it's very sustainable, very cool for students who are interested in renewable energy. And then by senior year, we have more suite style apartments right downtown in Burlington. So fun time for students to change their mind every single year and how they want to live. So digging into the fun stuff, why you're looking at different schools, we have 32 different career focused majors. So just 32 majors. We're not a school of 100 different majors. So you do focus in really closely on what you're most passionate about. You can see here are 4 different divisions of how we break down majors: our School of Business, which we were founded on, Education and Human Studies, Information Technology Sciences, and Communication and Creative Media. Some unique majors for us: we have a law degree for an undergraduate degree. So it maps exactly to a postgrad law program where you do case study work and client work. We also have a fantastic cybersecurity program, digital forensics, an award-winning filmmaking program, and a niche game studio program. So we have 6 different game majors this year. Sorry, we just added a new one. So game art, game design, game sound design, game production management, game programming, and new this year, game business and publishing. So really unique programs there. So just want to end kind of as we've talked a little bit more about my college and academics, and certainly our campus life is pretty unique, but what does it take to actually apply to Champlain? So we are on the Common App, free to apply. We are test optional and have been for 4 years, so nothing new for us. If you don't want to sit for those tests, totally fine. We do have a portfolio requirement for some of our majors, including film, game art, game design, creative media, and visual communication or graphic design. So something to keep in mind there. And the final thing I also want to share is that we do award merit-based scholarships to every first-year student. So you can guarantee, kind of count on that guarantee each year to have that scholarship as part of your cost of attending. So definitely take a look at our college. We'd love to have you come visit. Vermont's definitely been a pretty safe place the last few years, even amongst the chaos. So we are open for visits and would love to have you come across.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Up next, we have University of New England, Maine.
Hi, everybody, and welcome. My name is Percival. I'm one of the admissions counselors at the University of New England. So we're about 90 minutes north of Boston, just to kind of put it in context for you. We are located right on the water, as you can see. So we have about 4,000 feet of water frontage, including our own private beach up there at the top, as well as an island off the coast that's used for marine science and environmental science research. This campus is our main undergraduate campus. It's home to about 2,300 undergraduate students, and the average class size is about 22 students per class. Student to faculty ratio is about 13:1. So we try and keep those classes small and that ratio really close, because we really encourage our students to get out there and get that experiential education, whether that's getting out on the water on one of our 4 research vessels, whether it's hiking around the 363, like a 363-acre forest that we have, or whether it's getting into a lab to do something like cadaver dissection because you really love the health sciences. We really want to get you right there in the thick of things. And so we try and keep things really close and personal. Our second, this is another view of the Biddeford campus. So I touched on some of the health science and marine and environmental science facilities. We also have some amazing business facilities. We have a Bloomberg lab that students can look at market data with, as well as a makerspace where students design things from autonomous vehicles that measure the salinity of the water to keychains for fellow students. It's a great place to be able to kind of bring your ideas to life. You're also seeing on the right a bunch of support services for students. So whether you're thinking about getting internships, going and studying abroad, maybe you just need some help with an essay that you have, or you're thinking about what job am I going to get after college, All of that happens right here in this building, and it's really centrally located. So try and make it really easy for you to transition up to undergraduate study. Our Portland campus is our other campus in Maine. It's about 30 minutes north of the Biddeford campus. This is our main graduate and professional campus. So if you're thinking about going on to become a doctor, a dentist, a pharmacist, maybe you want a master's in social work, all of that is located right up here. We're the #1 provider of healthcare professionals in Maine, and a lot of that happens right here on the Portland campus. So definitely a cool place to keep in mind if you're thinking about some graduate level study. Our Tangier campus is our 3rd campus that we have. So this is a study abroad campus. What's cool about this is that it's our own campus. So it's like studying in Maine, except it just happens to be in Tangier, Morocco. We have all of the labs and the facilities and the professors over here to offer any student, regardless of their major, the ability to study abroad in Tangier. So even if you're a nursing student or someone in a really rigorous scientific program, you can still go abroad and have that awesome experience and stay on track to graduate in 4 years. These are a list of some of the programs that we have. So big programs that we have are definitely in the health sciences and the marine and environmental sciences. It's a big focus at UNE. You're seeing things like medical biology, business, animal behavior. There's lots to choose from. I think no matter what it is that you're thinking about choosing, it's good to know that we really value interprofessional education. So if you're interested in health sciences, it's good to be able to understand how to provide team-based care for your patient. Or if you're interested in business, it's good to understand how other people are working so you can bring your idea to life. Like I said, we really value experiential education. On the left, you're seeing Noah Perlett, a professor working with one of our students in the Champlain Valley. They're tagging bobolinks as they're migrating from South America, working with the farmers to ensure that they're not harvesting during the nesting period and making sure that they migrate back down south safely. Students in the center panel are over in Iceland, one of our study abroad opportunities that we have. The marine ecology of Maine and Iceland are almost identical. So there's lots of amazing cross-country work that happens. And students on the right are working in our dental hygiene lab. So this sees about 5,000 patients a year, and it's a great opportunity to not have to go out and search for those experiential education, but really have it brought right to you. We are not just studying though, we do also get out and about. So on the left, you're seeing students down in Boston marching in the Pride March that happens there every year. In the center panel, you're seeing one of our student athletes. Definitely awesome to get out and support all of our student athletes. That's a big fun thing about UNE. And then you're also seeing a student on the right. She's checked out one of the paddle boards that we have and is paddling up the Saco River. So lots of opportunities to kind of get out into the beautiful environment that we have in Maine and really take advantage of all of those things. If you're thinking about applying, there are some things to note. We accept the Common App, the Coalition application, and our own UNE application, and there's no preference between any of those. We are a test blind admissions office, so what that means is that we don't look at your SAT or ACT scores. Even if you were to send them to us, we won't consider them. We do have an early action deadline on November 15th, and a couple of visit opportunities. Probably the most relevant to y'all would be Discover UNE. It's a virtual series coming up, running right now from September through December. You can get to know the campus and the students that we have. Thank you so much for listening. And definitely I'll put my contact info in the chat if you want to learn more about UNE.
Perfect, thank you. Up next, we have Washington College.
All right, hello everybody. I'll share my screen. All right, so Washington College, like the other colleges here, is a small private liberal arts college. We are in Chestertown, Maryland, so over on the eastern shore of the Chesapeake Bay watershed. We are a small town in a pretty rural area, but we are also close to some pretty major cities. So we're about an hour and a half to 2 hours from anywhere in DC, Baltimore, and Philadelphia. So because of that, students end up going to these areas for fun with friends, that kind of thing, but they also go for internships. So we have partnerships with places like the Smithsonian, Library of Congress, the National Aquarium in Baltimore. Annapolis is also pretty close, which is the state capital. So we have externships with the state legislature. So some facts about Washington College. We have 3 campuses. The 112-acre main campus is what you're seeing here. So this is what you're going to think of when you think of a typical college campus. But because we are on a river that leads into the Chesapeake Bay, we have a strong environmental emphasis and emphasis on nature. So we have a 5,000-acre river and field campus and a waterfront campus, which has an environmental science research hall. So lots of research initiative opportunities here for students. Different things on the river and field campus, different ecosystems, rivers, meadows, a bird banding station, lake, farmland, all kinds of different research that we push students into as early as their 2nd semester. So also on the waterfront campus is a boathouse where students can rent paddle boards, kayaks, and things like that as soon as they pass the swim test. We have just under 1,100 students in our enrollment, about from 11 different countries and 3% international students and about a quarter students of color. So because of that small student population, we have a 9-to-1 student to faculty ratio and an average class size of 12. We also have 80+ student-run clubs and organizations. That could be different honor societies within your major. We have 19 Division III varsity athletics. We have things like Student Government Association. Hopefully within all this, something that everyone is going to find to enjoy. And about 68% of our students conduct an internship. A lot of the students end up doing more than one internship. We're very big on experiential learning, getting people out of the classroom and applying that knowledge. 90% of students in the class of 2019 are either employed or continuing their education within 9 months of graduation. So there's a support system in place for students to help land on their feet. And then 99% of the faculty have the terminal degree in their field. So the highest degree they can get, it's usually a doctorate. So when you have these small class sizes, you build these relationships with faculty, you know that they're the people who have the most knowledge about their field. Here are all our majors, programs, minors, concentrations, areas of emphasis. We are a liberal arts college, so we want to encourage people to pursue all their passions and not limit them. Over half of students end up adding a second major or adding a minor. We try to make it as easy as possible to do that, as well as all the different student opportunities. So at Washington College, we have something called the Washington College Standard. These are 5 pillars that underlie our education. Everyone's going to experience these in some way. So the first one is the written word. This is a great place to be if you want to be a writer. We have something called the Rose O'Neill Literary House. This is a place where we're able to invite authors to speak and do workshops. We've had authors like Toni Morrison, Lemony Snicket, a very good resource for that kind of thing. And if you don't want to be a writer, you're also going to graduate with proficiency in writing anyway. This is something that our students have come back and said that they really appreciate. So our writing program involves at least one writing intensive class every year, finishes with a senior capstone experience, which is going to vary by major. So our second pillar is environmental action. Like I said, being so close to Chesapeake Bay, we're very environmentally conscious. So even for people who do not take a class in environmental science, which is our second biggest major, they might enjoy walking to our permaculture garden, learning how to forage, how to compost. They're going to benefit from the 100% green energy that we use. So in a normal year, you wouldn't see a piece of trash on the side of the road in the whole county. So very environmentally conscious. Our third pillar is history informing the future. So there's a lot of history here. We are the 10th oldest college in the country, the first one founded after the separation from Britain, from the Declaration of Independence. We are the oldest college in Maryland. So we were actually partly founded with funds from George Washington, who also gave us his name, which is why you see our signature on pretty much everything. And he also sat on the first board of visitors and governors. So he was a big part of the decision-making process. So because of that, we have something called the STAR Center for the Study of the American Experience. This is basically history, humanities, really any kind of thing within the humanities students are able to do here. We offer 20 to 30 internships a year through that center. Our fourth pillar is learning without limits. So like I said, getting people into things like study abroad, field work within their classes, within their major, trying to get people to go beyond the classroom and really apply that knowledge. And then meaningful connections. So with people, with having those small class sizes, getting to know people, it's a very intentional community. Being as rural an area as we are, the people who end up here are the people who want to be here. They've really thought it through and made a decision to be here. So here are some pictures of student life. This top left and the bottom middle are during fall family weekend. So we've got the crab feast and cardboard boat race. So a lot of different environmental opportunities for students. And seems like I'm running out of time. So thank you and have a good day.
Thank you so much. Up next, we have Quest University.
So I'm going to share my screen here. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Johnny Yu. I'm one of the admissions counselors here at Quest University up in Squamish, British Columbia, Canada. So a little bit of where we are. We're about an hour north of Vancouver and about 45 minutes south of Whistler Mountain. And so I'm here today to talk to you guys about Quest, and like every other institution in this group, we are a small private liberal arts university, but almost everything we do is a little different, and arguably maybe a little bit better. So looking at Quest, looking at universities in general, there's about three things that you might know about most universities by now. One, universities are a lot like high school in that you're juggling a bunch of different subjects every day, all week, all semester. Second, a single class at most universities can have several hundred students in it. And three, you need to pick a major. And a lot of universities require you to pick it in your first year. So what if you're not juggling multiple classes every day, trying to tackle homework, writing essays, and studying several different subjects every night? Well, Quest students focus on only one subject for a whole month, one course for 3.5 weeks. So that allows you to focus, investigate, and understand and not cram. If you struggle with a particular subject that month, that's okay. It's the only thing you have to focus on and worry about wrapping your head around. Then it's over. We don't want your university experience to feel like 4 more years of high school. University level courses are so much heavier than high school courses, and nobody should try to juggle several university level subjects at once. So at Quest, we want you to focus on one subject at a time. It's your time to learn how to research, ask deep questions, and explore the biggest ideas in psychology, ecology, literature, and so much more. You shouldn't be struggling through a multitude of complex and competing ideas all at once. What if your class sizes were limited to 20 students who all discuss, research, and explore with new ideas together? Your teacher, who has a PhD, doesn't just know your name. He or she knows exactly who you are, what your strengths and weaknesses are, and is engaged with you in deep discussions daily. So your average day might look a little bit like this. And remember, you're only taking one course for a whole month. First, you spend a few hours seated around a large boardroom-like table with 19 of your fellow classmates and professor. All of you are interacting, learning, and discussing ideas together, and it's not just a lecture. The teaching is very discussion-based. Then you hit what we call breakout rooms. So your class splits into groups of 4 or 5 to study and discuss further in these smaller rooms with giant floor-to-ceiling windows like mountain views. This all only takes around 3 hours. Then you're basically free to use your time how you please. Find a balcony in view of the ocean to study on, tackle your readings in a coffee shop, or just go for a hike and contemplate what you've just learned. Let new ideas interconnect and take root. Quest gives you the freedom to focus deeply on one subject and then to learn through discussion and exploration in a small class. What if you don't need to choose a major? What if you didn't even need to choose between an arts or a science degree? So at Quest, we only offer one degree, and that's called a Bachelor of Arts and Sciences. There's only 4 required courses. Aside from that, every other course in our catalog is available for you and counts as a credit towards your degree. You have absolute freedom to take the courses that give you the knowledge you want. At other universities, you're often limited to choosing courses that will satisfy your major. But at Quest, we believe your passions and interests should be integrated with your knowledge. So don't be fooled. Just because you have only one class a month doesn't mean it's easy breezy, okay? Quest students need to be motivated and have the grit to be academically driven when required. This is never more true than at the end of your second year. So this is when you formalize your question and begin to conceptualize your Keystone Project. So your question, it brings a unique specialization to your education. At the end, you do this at the end of your second year. And from this question is that your Keystone Project will begin to take form through the years 3 and 4. So in all of our history, not 2 questions have ever been the same. Narrow or broad, your question could quite literally be anything. So Keystone Project. So yes, you're an undergraduate, but many people compare the Keystone Project to a master's level thesis. The level of research and understanding required will make you into a subject matter expert in the question you've chosen. And the Keystone Project involves both a written and presentation component and is delivered at the end of your 4th year. It represents the accumulation of your degree and all of your studies. This can look wildly different depending on your academic path, but past students have done original research projects, creative portfolios, written an entire book, constructed something physical like a garden or climbing gym, or given a TED Talk style lecture. And it looks like I'm running out of time. So if you guys have any more questions, I'll drop my contact in the group chat, and I look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you so much. All right, we've got one more university. We've got Suffolk University. So feel free to take it away.
Thank you. So my name is Stephanie Sweeney. I'm Associate Director of Undergraduate Admission here at Suffolk University. And we had a lot of my colleagues talk about how far they were from Boston. But if you go to Suffolk University, you're actually going to be in downtown Boston. So we're not your typical surrounded by gates, covered in ivy. That's not us. We're modern, we're urban, we're part of the city. So our buildings are integrated with the other buildings of the city, and we truly believe in the city as your classroom. We are one of the first cities in the United States. We're located along the Freedom Trail, which lists the 16 historic sites of the American Revolution. Sam Adams and John Hancock are literally buried under my office window. So a lot of times the professors will say, grab your coat, we're going outside. And you're going to find out that the Chipotle you go to every day for lunch is the first printing press. But the professors are always wanting to take advantage of our location in the city for those amazing learning opportunities. We also have 5 residence halls, which are in downtown Boston. One of them that we just opened last fall was a luxury boutique hotel. So some of our students have marble showers and towel warmers, which is a really nice perk. But all the students are located downtown and really taking advantage of everything the city has to offer. Across the street from us is the financial district. Behind us, we have the Massachusetts State House. To the left of us, we have Boston City Hall. 2 blocks from us are all the major hospitals in Boston. So this sets a tremendous opportunities for internship and research. Some of our professors are doing research in those hospitals, and so students can join along with them. Some of our professors are working in the financial district and teaching classes at night. So you're always up to date with what's going on in the field. We are just under 5,000 undergraduate students. We also have a graduate school and a law school with accelerated paths into all of those. We have over 70 different majors across our 2 schools. They're made up of college arts and sciences and a business school. And while you're with us, you'll be able to take classes in both schools. You can even major in one class and minor in another class in another school while you're with us. And that's perfectly fine. The 5 most popular majors in our college arts and sciences are political science, psychology, biology, communications, and in our business school, accounting, entrepreneurship, marketing, and finance. So we have students who take all different combinations of majors while they're with us. We're also very diverse. Our students are about 20% international. They come from 90 different countries. And we have over 46 different US states represented and 38% domestic students of color. We have a 15-to-1 student faculty ratio. So you know your professor, they know you. Sometimes they know you better than you know yourself. But they're always there to help the students one-on-one. And something that we're very proud of is 99% of our graduates are employed or in grad school within a year of graduation. So I think that says a lot about how we prepare our students. I think that says a lot about the opportunities that are presented to our students based on our location and based on the education that we provide. One of the things I really love about Suffolk is that we're a truly global university. So not only do we have our Boston campus, but we also have a campus in Madrid, Spain. So it is quite different from Boston. It's only about 100 students. It is an American curriculum with the classes taught in English, but you will take a Spanish language course per semester. But one of the big perks is that there's no classes on Fridays. So the students in Madrid can take advantage of travel opportunities throughout the country of Spain and throughout the continent of Europe, which our students are always on the go for those long weekends. And then in Boston, we have over 100 different clubs and organizations, 19 Division III athletics. We have generous advanced credit policies for AP and IB classes. And our fun fact on the Boston campus is that the inventor of the glue stick, Dr. Sushil Bhatia, is a professor in our Sawyer School of Business, and he teaches a class in the business school on failure, because that's important for business, but he also teaches it on happiness, which is a class that's full every single year. If you're looking to apply, we're on the Common App or the Suffolk application. We don't have a preference. We have early action deadline of November 15th, a regular decision deadline of February 15th. We are test optional, so SAT, ACT is not required. And as long as you apply by the deadline, you'll be evaluated for any types of merit scholarships. We also have a grandfather tuition policy here. If you maintain a 3.6 GPA, you'll never incur the cost of tuition increases at Suffolk, which is also a nice way to save money. And as I mentioned, we have some very generous advanced credit policies when it comes to AP and IB level curriculums. All right, I'll turn it back over to Becca.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, that is all for the presentations. Now I will invite all of the reps on to your cameras so we can discuss our Q&A question. So in the order in which you presented, what is one thing you want students to remember about your school? So I will start with Bennington College.
I would say the one thing I would want students to remember is that you can completely design your own education. No preset pathways, make it as you'd like.
Very cool. Champlain College.
Yeah, I think something to remember about us is that our first years live in Victorian homes with sunset Instagram-worthy views over Lake Champlain.
Gotta love that Instagram-worthy view. Up next, we have University of New England, Maine.
Hi, yeah, so one thing to remember would be that it's okay to change your major, that students do it all the time. Sometimes you're in a boat and you're really cold and you're wet and you're like, I actually don't like marine science, I want to switch, and that's totally okay.
Awesome. Washington College.
One thing to remember is that because we're so close to DC, Baltimore, and Philly, you triple your opportunities by being at Washington College.
Very good to know. How about Quest University?
Yeah, the biggest thing I would like students to remember is that we offer a structure that allows you to place your future in your degree. Your future isn't determined by a certain box, but you get to have autonomy and a say over what you want to pursue.
Love it. Suffolk University.
I'd like you guys to remember that we're a truly global university. So not only are we very diverse in terms of 20% international students, but we have our campus in Madrid, Spain, for all students to take advantage of, whether for it's a semester, a year, or even up to 2 years, to really be able to get that education on 2 continents.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you everyone so much for joining us. This draws the presentation to a close. When you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 5-question survey. We would appreciate any feedback you can provide. We encourage you to check back to the schedule and sign up for more sessions. You'll be able to find this session's recording as well as all other session recordings at strivescan.com/COSI. Thank you so much. And thank you so much to all of our panelists, especially. Take care.